You getting this?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The footage you're about to witness should never have seen the light of day, ever, under any circumstances.
Because the moment that towering, impossible creature stepped out of the tree line and stared into the camera with those molten, inhuman eyes, every scientist on the review panel froze. No one spoke. No one breathed. It wasn't fear. It was realization. Realization that the thing we laughed at, mocked, dismissed as folklore, was standing right there, breathing, watching us like we were the ones trespassing. This wasn't a blurry shadow. This wasn't a hoax. This was a colossal, muscle-bound nightmare, moving with the precision of a predator and the awareness of something far older than our species. The camera didn't just record a creature. It recorded a challenge, a warning, a secret ripped open by accident. And once you see what happens next, you can't unsee it.
Before we dive in, don't blink. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Shadow of the Colony. At 2:14 a.m. in Oregon's Cascade Range, a fire rescue team's helmet camera accidentally captured the moment they found a massive figure sprawled across the forest floor, its chest barely rising under the flashlight beams. A forearm scanned on camera, thick as driftwood. A matte black eye caught on the lens, reflecting orange. A shoulder filmed close-up, wider than a freezer door. Scientists later claimed the body might be staged. Yet the footage shows hair clumped with rain, skin beneath gray-brown, arms stretching far below the knees, and a faint, sour smell described by rescuers as wet bear mixed with old timber. One forensic biologist suggested the creature could represent an unknown offshoot of early hominids, something built like a 90s refrigerator but moving with the stealth of an NFL runner, capable of surviving high-altitude forests without detection. So if this wasn't the first one they found, how many more watched the rescuers from the trees? The ribbed colossus leak. In a remote Washington clearing hours after a storm, a sheriff's drone transmitted a low-resolution feed showing a colossal carcass surrounded by vultures while deputies circled it in disbelief. Ribs caught on drone cam, splayed open like a wrecked canoe, a severed arm filmed beside the head, fingers still curled, torn hide scanned, thick, matted, soaked in mud. No official report ever surfaced, yet the footage clearly depicts a creature over 3 meters tall, chest cavity enormous, bone structure unlike any North American fauna. Experts quietly suggested the body showed adaptations of Skookum legends, an ancient giant with orangish eyeshine and arms far beyond human ratio. The decomposition pattern implied something powerful attacked it, yet moved silently enough that no residents reported a struggle. If something big enough to kill this was still roaming nearby, what else was walking in that fog-drenched valley? Alley stalker breach. Witness phone footage from a cramped Jakarta alley at dusk recorded a towering silhouette forcing its way between concrete walls as residents screamed and scattered. A hunched back caught on camera, brushing the tin roofs. Hands filmed, dragging the ground as it squeezed forward. A low rumble scanned from the shadows, half human, half storm. Locals described a stench like wet animal fur mixed with rotten wood, and the creature's stride, heavy like a buffalo, yet quiet as a stalking cat, matched no known primate. Some researchers linked the footage to orang-pendek stories from Sumatra, yet this being dwarfed those accounts by multiple meters. Its gray earth skin, glimpsed beneath dripping fur, suggested a survival adaptation to swamp humidity and urban heat pockets. The agility shown in the narrow corridor hinted at intelligence and spatial awareness far beyond animals of its size. If it could navigate a maze of alleys without being trapped, how long before it learns the layout of the entire city? The frozen hunger stillness. In northern Alberta at first light, a hiker's chest-mounted camera captured the outline of a massive body half buried in snow between frozen pines, unmoving except for faint frost drifting off its muzzle. A frozen hand caught on lens, claws of ice, shoulders filmed rising under the snowpack. Eyes scanned dull red when the beam passed. Experts reviewing the footage noted dense, winter-adapted fur, long fibers hardened by wind ice, and limbs proportioned for climbing and silent displacement through deep drifts. One zoologist speculated it may represent an evolutionary cousin of the Yeti lineage, an apex winter predator built like a walk-in freezer, but capable of smooth movement over slick terrain. The quiet around it was unnaturally perfect, as if the forest itself paused to avoid awakening it. If this creature wasn't dead, Was it simply waiting for the hiker to get close enough? The caged impact footage. A thermal investigation crew in rural Montana filmed a metal trap shaking violently as something massive slammed against the bars, sending white flares across the night vision screen. A fist caught on camera, denting steel. A roar filmed, vibrating the mic. A silhouette scanned, pacing the cage like a wrestler. Technicians later whispered that the musculature didn't match bears or primates. Arms disproportionately long, chest expanding with deep, wind-like groans, eyes flashing orange through the bars. When slowed down, its movement appeared impossibly fluid for its bulk, like an old industrial refrigerator gliding on rails. Some speculated the creature exhibited advanced problem-solving patterns, repeatedly testing the same weak bar. If it already understood the cage's stress points, what made the crew think the locks would hold long enough? The Russian holding unit. A leaked Siberian research tape shows a towering figure trapped inside a reinforced cube of steel, snow swirling around it as it grips the bars and glares directly into the lens. Frosted breath caught on camera. Knuckles filmed scraping metal. Eyes scanned glowing red-orange, unblinking. Researchers claimed it was sedated, yet the footage shows micro-movements, flexing forearms, shifting weight, testing every weld with long, deliberate pushes. Analysts noted its proportions, over 2.7 meters tall, shoulders as wide as a Texas cold storage wall, hair clumped with ice melt, skin beneath slate gray. Some theorized it might be a relic population adapted to boreal forests, capable of disappearing into blizzards with predatory silence. The cage bars bowed subtly, suggesting strength beyond industrial norms. If it understood it was being observed, what does it do when the lights finally turn off and no one is watching? Forest hold breach. Just after midnight outside Asheville, a sheriff body cam recorded the moment an officer stood beside a towering figure detained without cuffs big enough to restrain it. Hands caught on camera, folded like it understood. Shoulders filmed rising higher than the cruiser roof. Eyes scanned amber, unblinking in the dark. The footage shows dense chest fur clumped by humidity, arms hanging past the knees, and skin beneath colored ash brown. Features consistent with decades of Bigfoot reports. Some analysts argued the creature displayed unnerving calmness, suggesting social cognition or even negotiation instincts. Its stance, wide, balanced, almost human, hinted at an evolutionary branch adapted for bipedal endurance yet strong enough to toss logs like baseball bats. No one confirmed how officers subdued it or why they appeared more cautious than aggressive. If it allowed itself to be taken without resistance, was it following orders or waiting for the perfect moment to stop pretending? The clearing surrender file. Deep in the Olympic rainforest, tactical helmet footage captured a silent standoff between armored officers and a colossal humanoid emerging from dense, moss-covered trunks. A breath caught on camera, misting the cold air, a chest filmed expanding like a bellows. A massive arm scanned slowly, palms open. Specialists later froze frames and noted anatomical anomalies. Deltoids broader than a freezer wall, fur wet and heavy like soaked rope, and a facial structure eerily resembling early hominid fossils. Despite its size, easily over 3 meters, it moved with feline quietness, contradicting all known biomechanics of large mammals. Some speculated a genetic offshoot related to Skookum tribal accounts, mentioning forest giants who walked between storms without bending a leaf. Officers seemed unsure whether to capture, communicate, or retreat. If something this large chooses stillness instead of attack, what level of intelligence is hiding behind that silence? Highway Impact Trail. A late-night dash cam on Highway 299 outside Willow Creek recorded a massive silhouette stumbling in front of an RV, shattering glass and triggering chaos inside the vehicle. A hulking back caught on camera, wobbling under headlights. Hair filmed whipping in the wind like wet branches. Long arms scanned, dragging across the yellow line. Audio reveals a mix of deep grunts and whistling breaths, matching no known primate recordings. Analysts suggested the creature's posture, crooked yet powerful, hinted at an injury. possibly from a territorial fight. The way it regained balance, despite being struck, defied typical impact physics. Its fur density, limb ratios, and reflective reddish eye glow matched eyewitness reports spanning decades. One theory proposed a nocturnal migration pattern, crossing roads unknowingly during low moonlight. If this was an accidental encounter, how many close calls happen on empty highways with no cameras rolling? Ridgeline Interrogation Unit. Morning patrol footage from Black Bear Ridge captured two officers confronting a towering fur-covered figure blocking the hiking trail as if guarding a territory. Feet caught on camera, wide as snowshoes. A low rumble filmed, vibrating the treetops. A slow turn scanned, eyes glowing ember red. Experts reviewing the footage noted its incredible posture stability, like a refrigerator-sized athlete rooted into the ground, combined with subtle micro-movements suggesting it could spring forward instantly. Long arms brushed ferns without making sound, showing predatory-level muscle control. Some forest biologists compared the encounter to Wendigo myths, describing ancient forest guardians who stood motionless until trespassers got too close. But this creature's breathing rhythm and body tension implied a living organism, not folklore. If it was guarding something deeper in the forest, what were the officers unknowingly standing between? Roadside extraction. Leak. Border enforcement dash footage from rural Arizona captured two agents struggling to restrain a massive fur-covered humanoid pressed against an SUV hood, its roars echoing down the highway. Hands caught on camera, swatting like sledgehammers. Chest filmed rippling under coarse, dark fur. A jaw scanned open wide, mixing bear growl with human tone. Footage analysis revealed arm ratios far exceeding human proportions and skin beneath the fur-tinted stone gray. Agents seemed overwhelmed despite full gear and tactical restraints, indicating strength comparable to large wildlife. Scientists who examined leaked frames suggested adaptations for desert migration, lighter fur patches, heat-dispersing posture, and incredible endurance. This could indicate Bigfoot populations are not confined to forests, but capable of crossing vast terrains quietly. The creature's panic response seemed almost strategic, as if testing the agent's grip points. If it can overpower trained officers in broad daylight, what happens when it chooses not to be seen? The Valley Charge Archive. Helmet cam from a remote tactical unit in Quinault Valley captured two soldiers sprinting full speed as a gargantuan creature stormed out of the ferns behind them. A roar caught on camera, shaking the mic. Massive arms filmed tearing moss from trees. Footfalls scanned like thunder muffled in soil. Slow-motion breakdown revealed proportions far beyond typical Bigfoot reports, closer to legendary forest titans mentioned in Coast Salish lore. Its stride length and shoulder rotation suggested power on par with a charging bison, but precision like a stalking mountain cat. Musculature rippled through thick fur layers, hinting at evolved efficiency for sudden bursts of speed. Analysts theorized this might represent an alpha specimen, territorial, ancient, possibly guarding a long-established domain deep in the valley. If soldiers fled at full sprint and still couldn't widen the distance, what chance would an unarmed hiker ever have? Night. Press capture. At 9:42 p.m. outside the Golden Dragon Strip, a local news crew's live camera accidentally recorded officers wrestling a massive, fur-covered figure out of a patrol car, while sirens lit the sidewalk red and blue. A snarl caught on camera, vibrating the mic, shoulders filmed dwarfing both officers, hands scanned dragging the pavement, knuckles sparking. The creature's fur, dark, slick, thick as soaked rope, matched no known primate species, and its eye shine flickered orange like burning sap. Analysts later noted its limb proportions, arms extending well past the knee line, chest spanning nearly the width of the car door. Some speculated it might be an urban-adapted offshoot, drawn to heat and noise, explaining why it appeared near restaurants and neon lights. Its vocalizations hinted at a complex throat structure, mixing human-like vowels with bear-deep resonance, if it's bold enough to appear in city nightlife. How many times has it walked past crowds without anyone noticing? The Highway Luxury Stop. Just after sunrise on a remote Idaho highway, a trooper's body cam recorded the surreal moment they handcuffed a towering fur-coated figure standing beside a luxury sports car still humming. A massive wrist caught on body cam, barely fitting the cuff. Golden chains filmed clinking against coarse fur. Heavy breaths scanned in cold morning air. The footage shows features consistent with deep forest sightings. Grayish skin beneath reddish fur, eye glow that shifts amber in low light and proportions far beyond human norms. Yet the creature's calm compliance and apparent understanding of commands shocked analysts reviewing the leak. Some theorized this might be evidence of a hidden intelligence, a capacity for mimicry, or even cultural adaptation, echoing ancient legends of forest giants disguising themselves among humans. Its gait, heavy as a buffalo but smooth like a trained athlete, suggested evolutionary refinement for speed and stealth. If it understands our language and habits, how long has it been blending in unnoticed? The Pinedale restraint. In a cold Wyoming turnout, a roadside security camera caught officers guiding a massive creature between vehicles as it resisted slightly, muscles rippling beneath thick, shadowy fur. A growl caught on camera, half wind, half voice. A shoulder filmed brushing frost off the cruisers. Eyes scanned wide, glowing like banked embers. The footage reveals anatomy unlike any large mammal. Deltoids shaped like stone slabs, arms far longer than human reach, and a neck almost non-existent beneath layers of muscle. Experts suggested the creature's ability to remain upright in freezing temperatures indicates metabolic adaptations similar to bears, but with fluid, silent movement suggesting a predatory lineage. Its reactions, measured, controlled, hint at a level of self-restraint few wild animals show when cornered by humans. If it allowed itself to be escorted, what was it hiding from deeper in the forest behind the headlights? The Woodside license incident. A British patrol officer's chest cam recorded a towering figure holding a broken selfie stick while being questioned for filming in a protected woodland zone, its enormous frame dwarfing the officer. A trembling exhale caught on cam, misting the lens. Huge fingers filmed gripping the metal pole. A low hum scanned from its chest, almost speech-like. The creature's proportions, over 2.6 meters, arms drooping well past mid-thigh, matched reports dating back to 18th century British folklore of wood wights, giant watchers of forest paths. Its fur was dense, rain-matted, and the underlying skin showed a stone-gray tone, rarely documented. Some analysts speculated it might be drawn to reflective surfaces or lights, explaining its attempt to use a camera. Its controlled breathing and steady gaze suggested sentience rather than feral instinct. If it's learning to film us, how soon before it starts recording from the treetops where we can't see? Chained corridor file. A prison hallway camera captured officers escorting a colossal fur-covered figure in reinforced chains, each step echoing like distant thunder through the concrete walls. Chains caught on camera, strained to their limits. A massive torso filmed brushing both walls, eyes scanned, following every fluorescent flicker. Forensic analysts reviewing leaked stills noted unusual spine curvature, allowing both upright walking and quadrupedal bursts. Its shoulders, wider than a Texas freezer wall, seemed engineered for explosive power. The chains, industrial grade, appeared only barely enough to restrain it, suggesting strength beyond large primates. Some theorized a relic lineage surviving in deep wilderness pockets, emerging only when disturbed by human expansion. Its calmness in captivity contradicted typical animal panic, raising questions about cognition and long-term memory. If the creature already understands confinement, what happens the moment it decides those chains no longer matter? The forest pursuit. A police chopper's thermal cam picked up a giant biped sprinting through Georgia pines, cigarette ember glowing from its mouth as officers struggled to keep pace on foot. A glowing heat signature caught on thermal, dense fur filmed rippling with each stride. Footfalls scanned heavy but eerily silent. The clip exposed physical feats beyond known biology. The creature's acceleration resembled an NFL sprinter fused with a buffalo's power, yet its movements remained shockingly smooth. Skin temperature patterns suggested thick subdermal layers insulating it from both heat and cold. Some wildlife specialists theorized it might represent an apex omnivore capable of long-distance pursuits. The casual act of smoking, if intentional, raised unsettling questions about learned behavior and environmental exposure. If it can outrun trained officers while barely trying, what happens the night it chooses not to run, but to stalk instead? Redband alert footage. Just before sunset on Cascade Range County roads, a local news camera captured deputies escorting a towering fur-covered figure whose wrist barely fit inside custom restraints. A heavy breath caught on camera, shoulders filmed, filling the whole frame, eyes scanned molten orange, unblinking. Analysts later noticed the creature's posture, stooped yet rigid, hinting at extreme muscle density beneath rain-matted fur, while limb proportions showed a ratio closer to extinct hominids than modern primates, suggesting an evolutionary branch capable of both brutal force and startling endurance, like a fridge-sized linebacker moving with the fluid balance of a stalking cougar. If it looked this calm on live broadcast, what expression did it wear when the cameras finally shut off? Chinatown holdout clip. In downtown Chinatown, street surveillance captured officers dragging a massive creature through red lantern light as pedestrians froze, unsure whether to run or record. A low growl caught on mic. A huge arm filmed flexing free, a jaw scanned tight in agitation. Specialists examining slowed footage noted long fiber fur shifting in rhythmic waves, evidence of layered musculature adapted for both climbing and short-range bursts, while the creature's steady forward lean suggested instinctive spatial mapping, like it already memorized the street's geometry before stepping into it. If it could study the crowd that quickly, how many times has it walked among them unnoticed? Border selfie incident. At noon along a desert border road, a ranger's dash cam recorded a towering figure grinning at a selfie stick while casually chatting with an officer who looked both confused and terrified. Teeth caught on camera, too wide, arms filmed dangling past shorts, a chest scanned rising like a furnace. The creature's relaxed posture contrasted sharply with its massive frame, suggesting temperature regulation adaptations under the dark fur, while its social mimicry, posing, smiling, hinted at cognitive abilities closer to early hominins, capable of observational learning and behavioral imitation. If it's comfortable performing for a camera, what else is it rehearsing? Ranger station breakdown. In a clearing near a ranger cabin, body cam footage captured two laughing officers trying to restrain a furious, mud-soaked giant in a torn tank top as the sun burned low over the tree line. A snarl caught on frame, wrists filmed snapping the cuffs, footsteps scanned heavy as drums. Experts later noticed the creature's stress posture, chest expanded, elbows flared, matching defensive stances of known apex predators. Yet its balance remained unnervingly smooth, as if every muscle was built for explosive acceleration. If this was its weakest moment, what does it look like at full strength? Suburban siren panic. A residential doorbell camera recorded officers restraining a raging figure under street lamps as neighbors filmed from porches and children screamed from open windows. A roar caught on camera, shaking glass, arms filmed whipping like cables, hair scanned dripping with sweat. Reviewers noted the creature's tendons bulging against its own mass, suggesting a hybrid locomotion style, part biped, part knuckle walk built for sprinting, while its intense eye shine hinted at nocturnal sensitivity, meaning suburban streetlights could have overloaded its senses. If a quiet neighborhood can trigger this response, what happens in a city blackout? Forest impact recording. A motion-activated trail camera captured a giant figure rolling violently as a falling tree struck its side, the impact echoing like a thunderclap across the forest floor. Trunk hit on camera. Fur filmed scattering debris, a hand scanned clawing for leverage. Biologists reviewing the frame suggested its dense torso acted like a shock-absorbing structure, thick bone, flexible cartilage layers, allowing survival from impacts that would kill most large mammals, reinforcing theories of a species adapted for mountainous terrain and frequent rockfall. If it shrugs off a hit like this, what force would be required to stop it for good? Tall shadow advance. Right before dusk in rural Arkansas, a hunter's trail cam captured a colossal figure stepping silently through brittle leaves as if gravity barely applied. A long arm caught on camera, a sloping brow filmed over glowing eyes, a chest scanned rising like a furnace. Experts noticed its gait, slow but balanced, suggesting tendon elasticity similar to large felines combined with primate power, allowing it to move a refrigerator-sized body with cat-like precision. Fur density and grayish skin indicated cold weather adaptation or hibernation cycles in deep ravines. If it walks this quietly in dry leaves, how close has it passed by people without them hearing a thing? Backyard trampoline fall. A suburban night vision cam in Ohio recorded a towering figure attempting to climb onto a trampoline before flipping backward with a thud that shook the camera mount. A leg caught on the rim, a heavy arm filmed flailing upward. Red eye shine scanned as it hit the ground. Analysts slowed the footage and observed powerful back muscles contracting under thick fur, hinting at unusual skeletal flexibility, perhaps adapted for vertical tree movement. While the clumsy moment exposed the creature's sheer mass, easily 300 kilograms despite its surprising agility. If this was it losing balance, what kind of force does it generate when it's actually in control? Highway stretch mystery. Live aerial news footage showed a huge fur-covered figure strapped to a medical stretcher rolling down a busy interstate, escorted by multiple patrol cars in formation. A foot caught twitching, hands filmed curling inward. A deep breath scanned under blankets. Biologists reviewing enhanced frames noted its exposed torso structure, broad rib cage, elongated arms, dense abdominal muscle, suggesting an organism built for sprinting long distances without overheating. The calm pulse movement indicated extremely efficient cardiovascular adaptation. If this is how they transport it in public, what methods do they use when no cameras are around? Derelict ship survivor. A rescue helicopter's onboard camera captured an enormous creature sitting atop a decaying cargo ship tossed by violent waves, staring upward without fear as the blades thundered overhead. A hand caught gripping rusted steel, shoulders filmed rising like cliffs, salt water scanned dripping from heavy fur. Marine experts speculated its wet coat thickness hinted at semi-aquatic adaptation, enabling long cold water survival. Its mass seemed anchored yet poised, like a heavyweight athlete balanced on a moving deck, indicating remarkable equilibrium and deep muscle memory possibly honed through coastal migration. If it can survive storms alone on open sea, what coastline has it been watching all this time? Alabama fall footage. A grainy backyard CCTV in Alabama recorded a child staring upward as a massive shadow toppled behind him, the thud echoing across the yard before the figure scrambled away. A silhouette caught mid-fall, a grunt filmed low and guttural, a limb scanned kicking up dirt. Researchers analyzing shadow length calculated a height of at least 2.7 meters, with arm span proportionally longer than any known primate. Repeated falls across multiple sightings hinted at possible inner ear instability or nocturnal disorientation, yet its rapid recovery showed incredible strength. If even a creature this big can stumble, what happens when it falls towards someone instead of away? Mud pit stillness. A hiker's phone footage from Tennessee captured a huge fur-covered body lying motionless in a mud basin, rain forming ripples across its matted back. A finger caught twitching. A breath filmed shifting mud. An eye scanned faint amber. Biologists suggested this might indicate a defensive deep rest state, similar to hibernation microcycles observed in large mammals, allowing extreme energy conservation. The creature's thick fur and wide thoracic cavity suggested a physiology built for temperature regulation during long periods of stillness, like a living boulder waiting for danger to pass. If it can remain motionless for hours in plain sight, how many times have hikers walked right past one without knowing? Conclusion. For a moment, the world stood absolutely still, because after watching every frame, every shadow flicker, every tremor of muscle under that ancient coat of fur, one truth kept clawing its way back to the surface. We are not alone, and we have never been. No matter how desperately we tried to rationalize it, calling it a suit, a trick of the light, a forced perspective, our instincts screamed louder than reason. Something that tall, that mindful, that silently powerful has been sharing our forests, watching our roads, crossing our borders, and slipping between the gaps of our understanding for longer than we've been brave enough to admit. And now, for the first time in decades, the lens didn't lie. It caught fear, it caught intelligence, it caught something moving with purpose. Scientists have been forced into silence, confronted by evidence too significant to dismiss, yet too dangerous to publicly acknowledge. Authorities scramble to control narratives. Witnesses recant statements. Files disappear. But the camera, raw, unfiltered, accidental, became the one thing they couldn't erase. When that towering silhouette stepped forward, when its breath fogged the lens, when its eyes burned with feral calculation, it shattered the barrier between legend and fact. Humanity isn't staring into the unknown anymore. The unknown is staring right back. This isn't about proving Bigfoot exists. This is about realizing the world is infinitely bigger, darker, and more magnificent than the version we've been handed. It's about accepting that evolution doesn't end with us. It's about the possibility, terrifying or awe-inspiring, that a species capable of remaining unseen for centuries has chosen this moment to reveal itself. And if this footage is real, even in part, then every trail, every mountain ridge, every quiet stretch of forest holds a secret far grander than our imagination. So as you sit there replaying the image in your mind, the towering frame, the glinting eyes, the silent, deliberate movement, ask yourself, what else is out there, just beyond the edge of the frame, waiting for us to finally look up? Before we continue uncovering the footage they never wanted you to see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mystery Footage Uncovered, because trust me, we're only scratching the surface.